Good morning, it's May 2nd. This is To My Little Friends. Well, the Joe Biden's presidency will soon be forgotten as one that accomplished very little, and in the end, it became apparent that he was suffering from some form of aging dementia. The post-administration reports by White House staffers that as early as his first year in office, 2021, they had to adapt the schedule because he would have good days and bad days, and confirmed that unfortunately age was catching up to him. In the post-November timeframe, the Democrats took to fighting with each other. The progressive wing of the party demanded action, while the more reasonable side of the party realized they had little power, with the Republicans controlling the House, the Senate, and the White House. They were the minority party. As long as Republicans could muster some form of unity, something I've always found wanting among House Republicans, then they could move the key legislative efforts to their agenda. This past month, we've had that aging socialist Bernie Sanders, accompanied by another socialist, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, out on their oligarchy tour around the country. They were raking in contributions at most venues, attracting all the progressives in the area. They ranted and raved about Trump, and of course, everything was being done to benefit billionaires. As I said before, Sanders does not talk about millionaires anymore because he's one himself. Pretty good for a guy that worked in some form of government job his entire life. Talking about turning public service into wealth, Bernie was a master at it. In the past couple of months, the Democrats have become more aggressive. They have canned lines that they all repeat, and they've fallen in love with dropping F-bombs at every meeting. I guess that makes them feel more macho or something. We've all witnessed the attacks on Tesla dealerships and Tesla cars by liberals who are protesting Elon Musk and his Doge team for having the audacity to point out there's waste, fraud, and abuse in government spending. Parenthetically, the Doge team is finding that the layers of government inefficiency make it difficult to root out what they're actually looking for. It's now May, and that means Democratic contenders for the presidency in 2028 are already out there testing the waters. Why else would Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker be speaking in New Hampshire? I guess he failed to get the memo from Biden that Democrats have moved the first primary to South Carolina. In that speech on Sunday night, Pritzker, who by the way is a multi-billionaire, so he must be who Sanders and AOC are yelling about, and who inherited his wealth from his family when the Hyatt chain was on fire. And I should point out the Pritzker family, there are 13 billionaires. Well, Pritzker called for mass protests and declared that Republicans, quote, cannot know a moment of peace. They must understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone and microphone that we have. We must castigate them on the soapbox and then punish them at the ballot box, end quote. Sounds like he's parenthetically quoting Winston Churchill on his fight them in the streets. Quoting on his speech, he said again, it's time to fight everywhere and all at once. Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption, but I am now, end quote. He also made it clear that he was not backing down on the social issues, that polling shows he's on the wrong side. He scapegoated any Democrat that did not stand up for issues like DEI, transgender athletes, and illegal immigrants. He's going all in on the progressive agenda. Now, Pritzker likes to point out that he did not make his wealth in public service. He got it the old-fashioned way. He inherited it. But by making this point, he seemed to make a dig at many politicians that seem to accumulate wealth while in office. You hear that, Bernie Sanders? I'm not sure exactly what Pritzker expects from this type of rhetoric. It kind of reminds me of the speech Donald Trump made on January 6th while urging protesters to march peacefully to the Capitol. And you had to know there'd be some that went too far. Will the Democrats castigate Pritzker and other Democrats making similar statements if this riles up crowds and they go too far? If they start rioting in the streets and burning cities again, will he own up to his rash comments? Well, Pritzker's confrontational stance contrasts with potential rivals like Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer and the Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who have advocated more of a bipartisan collaboration with Trump while representing pivotal swing states. Whitmer was photographed in the White House earlier this month, at one point hiding her face from the cameras. Earlier this week, Whitmer appeared with Trump in Michigan, and she was cordial on that day, but the next day she went right back to attacking Trump, lest she not seem progressive enough. It should also be pointed out that Pritzker can get away with some of this rhetoric because he comes from Illinois, which is a solidly blue state that's totally controlled by the Democrats. These other contenders are not on such solid blue ground. But we can expect more and more of this in the coming months as Democrats try to figure out who they are and what the message they want to send to the public, particularly in the 2026 midterms, what that message will be. Donald Trump is betting that by February of next year, his economic agenda will be bearing positive fruit, and he will have changed international trade in a more favorable way toward the United States. If he's able to succeed, then it won't matter what the Democrats say, it will fall on deaf ears. But if he fails, then Republicans better be ready for the attacks that will be coming, and they will come. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.